One of the most exciting things of my job is to find an interpretation for a piece. If you only play what's written, we are missing half of the story. Now, interpretation is not just about feeling. It's about uncovering what the composer hid between the lines or between the notes. Let's just take these first two bars out of the third ballade of Chopin. So, in this case, we're starting with only one single note. And out of this note, we are getting more and more voices. So out of 1, we are getting 6. The upper melody is probably the one that everyone hears. Then we have a bass melody. And then we have a third melody, which is the middle voice. 3 more voices entering as soon as we reach the highest point. So basically the sound is opening, literally opening. All our voices start with an E flat. All the main voices that we had in the beginning are ending in E flat. But now on 3 different octaves instead of just 1. Am I the only one that thinks that's so interesting? Okay, now this was just a small fracture of what I'm normally analyzing. Now, how do we get an interpretation out of this analysis? If you look into the harmonic structure, we're starting with E flat, and we're staying in a combination of E flat and A major, and sometimes there's also a sprinkle of B flat major, which is connected to E flat major. Okay, enough of music theory, but that's important because B flat and E flat are actually very much connected to nature. Now, I won't get into more details here. If you want to know more, go and Google it. It has something to do with specific instruments. So, in my interpretation, the music wants to show something that's coming out of nature and that's starting from 1 and becomes more or bigger. Well, I don't have to think a lot to get the image of a flower that's opening in the morning. Now, how do I transfer this onto the piano? Well, there are a lot of things that we have to keep in mind. For example, there's also a crescendo written there. Now, how big should this crescendo be? If we push it too hard, we are basically destroying the flower. But the other way around, if we don't give enough crescendo, the sound can't really open and therefore the flower will never bloom. Now, if we just push the main melody, it's going to sound a little bit too harsh. So here comes a trick that Robert Schumann always suggested. Let the middle voices sing so the whole chord can bloom from the inside. And one last trick here that helps me a lot to follow all the different voices that are coming out of just one note is to actually start this one note with both hands. For me, this is so much easier to just let all the voices flow out of this one note instead of entering later with that hand and therefore interrupting that line. If you found that interesting, please leave a like and also leave in the comment section how you would interpret this part. I'm looking forward to play all 4 Chopin ballades in Milano on 19th July. Tickets and information in my bio. See you in Milano.